my co-host Tina. We are live for day 15 of 30 challenge. So welcome in all you beautiful souls. We're just getting set up now. And tonight we're talking about manifestation. Yes, yes, yes. We'll pull some cards. We'll talk a little manifestation. We'll talk about nervous system regulating, all kinds of fun stuff. So come join the conversation. This is me just prepping the floor while we wait for our star to come in. Nobody is in the chat yet, so let me comment. Tonight is all about manifestation. Manifestation. How to manifest.
Did you send me the Facebook?
Um,
I don't
welcome
see
in,
it.
welcome
Oh, you know what?
in.
Let me just go
There you go.
to.
Just sent it to you. Welcome in through. Welcome through. We are talking about manifestation tonight.
There you go.
I'm gonna pull some cards. Oh, there you are. Hi, girl. I hope you're feeling better. I'll let you share what you would like to share. I don't want to just throw your stuff out there. It's adding you right now, T, on Facebook. Yep, there you are. Perfect. Let me turn this down.
So where's the feed? Can you hear me?
Turn your volume on the phone, because I can't hear you. You have the volume up on the phone. Hi, welcome in, beautiful souls. Pulling cards, talking about manifestation, live 7 to 8 p.m. Oh, good. There you go. Now talk.
You can hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Oh, look at Miss Stephanie. I got on without any issues today.
Welcome in, beautiful souls. Welcome. We're just giving a minute or so because we're kind of early, a few minutes for people to join.
And for me to log on.
Yes. Yep.
Let's face it.
We got you on Facebook and we got you on YouTube so far. Now we just gotta get you on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok, but you can't see me. Why can't you see me?
I gotta invite you. And welcome in, beautiful souls. We're just getting ready for our 7 to 8 p.m. live challenge that we've been doing for day 15. I do not see you.
Yeah, I don't have a camera on this screen.
That's fine, but you should still be able to join like you do before with your picture.
Oh, I don't know if my picture is on this.
Like when I got you on there before, remember? There, I just sent you a thingy. Welcome in, beautiful souls. Pulling cards, talking about manifestation. We're about to talk more about it, but hallelujah.
I just told Stephanie we had no issues, and now look at you're telling me you don't have a picture.
What do you mean? In TikTok?
Yeah, I spoke too soon. I jinxed it.
No, I don't see it.
Where can I put a picture? Settings.
Alright. Welcome in, beautiful souls. Tonight we're talking about manifestation. We're on day 15 of 30. Pulling cards. Taking you into our little corner of the internet. Sharing space, guided messages. Welcome, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome. Is there anybody that is on right now? If you can comment down below, because I'd like to start on sharing a little bit about manifestation while Tina is getting settled in. Welcome in. And if anybody knows truly about manifestation,
That's the question.
how much do we know about manifestation? What does it look like to you? What does the word manifestation mean to you?
I'd be curious because I think we all have an idea as to what it means to manifest. And I think it's certainly evolved over the years. So
Absolutely.
would love to hear what people are thinking as I look through this system.
Welcome back, Auntie Marie. Welcome back, welcome back. Yeah. I just saw like a fishing hook in line. Pulling her in. Tonight we're talking about manifestation. And I want to share manifestation happens in the pause. Not when we're forcing, not when we're overthinking, but in the moment where we slow down enough so that way we could hear ourselves, ground into the body and create with intention and give thanks before the result arrives. Now, when I go and I share that about manifesting, because especially in the beginning of your awakening journey, or really into spirituality, or working more with energy or the unseen, right? Um, we are always originally taught affirmations, power, positivity, positive thoughts, which you want to manifest, vision boards. I'm sure people have heard many things like write out as much detail as you can of what you want to manifest, and then you just leave it alone. Kind of like planting a seed, right? That's kind of like one of the keys to manifestation. But when we're in the beginning of our journey, we could get all excited, draw it out, but then we don't let it go. We don't release control of the outcome. We can tend to get frantic or start being like, okay, I want this home on this property, so I'm going to work a billion hours. I'm going to say yes to every job, or work multiple jobs, and that is forced. That's almost like forced manifesting, right? So what happens is you create resistance, and then it's almost like a feeling as if it's getting further and further away from you. Okay. So as somebody who started with like had these manifestations, it was, whether it was the getting healthier in my body, or I had a vision of living in the woods. Our bodies already have a blueprint of a timeline that it sees for us to experience. That's from a spiritual lens, energetic lens, and as a collective, this isn't something that you're necessarily learning, it's something that you're remembering.
Mm, that's important.
Yes. Because in the remembering, you take it from being outside of you and you bring it within you, because that's the key to manifesting is your mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is not. So if you really set your intentions in the manifestation of what you want to create, you visualize it. For me, I physically for a long time visualized this exact body that I have now, and I was like, I had the vision of it. I seen, I even experienced me walking through the forest, having the visions of all of these things that I saw for myself. And from that point of the original thought, anything that worked as a block to get me there came up for me to have to heal or face or work through. So then that way I can be on the frequency of what it is that I'm trying to create. Does that make sense, or am I getting too deep here?
You're getting a little deep, but people might be following. I guess so. Can you go back to vision boards, because I think that was like a trend at one point where people thought that was truly how you manifest what
Yep.
you want. So I don't know if you have the history of how that kind of transitioned into a different definition.
Well, the key with vision boards is that you're taking the thought from inside, or the memory, we'll say, and you're putting it into a tangible thing. Because remember, we create from our energy from inside a physical outside, right? But in order for us to manifest externally, we need to get it out of our mind and onto the paper. So that's where the vision boards help create it out of the mind and onto paper.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, and me and my husband actually did that with our property that we now have. We wrote out an entire what the property would look like, that it would have a river, that it would have the house, all of it. And we did it in October of 23, and I said that we would have it in October of 24. And in, what did I say? Wait, am I saying that those years wrong? 24. And then we ended up getting talked about it, and then we ended up getting it finally in the January of this year.
Okay. So it's what went. What, let me see if I can talk today. what was once a way of manifesting by creating a visual, we have now transitioned from making the move towards alignment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Because in order for you to manifest what you truly want, you will begin to make micro changes that will get you there, right? Because if you do the same thing you've always done, you'll get the same thing you've always got. And with manifestation, what you're doing is you're setting up like an internal algorithm to no longer be on autopilot. So the way to manifesting is I want to manifest this, and now I want it to happen. So what will I do? I'm not going to force it happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get grounded. I'll go out in nature. I'll do other things, kayaking. I'll create. I'll do other things because when I'm doing that, I'll get the inspired action because I'm allowing the seed to grow rather than forcing it. Because a lot of people think, I want to manifest this one thing, so I've got to spend every waking second of my thought and action building that exact manifestation, and you're actually drowning the seed.
So it's also what I'm hearing is you're not negotiating with the actual fear of future state. You're creating the clarity of what begins kind of like the on a flame on a candle, right? You're igniting that point of clarity, but you have to make sure you're not. I think fear comes up naturally in everybody's world, and I'm trying to make this make sense. So when we have fear, we tend to kind of become our own barrier. So pushing through that fear and being more comfortable with who you are and who you want to be is what's key to manifesting.
Yes, and a lot of the times when we get into a place of fear, we're actually getting into that place because we're comparing ourselves.
Right.
We're comparing ourselves to what other people already have and how they got it.
Yep. All right. Thanks for having patience with me on that.
Absolutely. My husband actually messaged something really cool on TikTok that did this for me here. He goes, what about the time we manifested our body massages? That's another one. So I had set intentions that I never had a body rub before. I actually had an experience with a chiropractor as a kid. It took me away from like letting people just touch it. I just did. So it doesn't matter. Point being is that I was like, man, we really should get one. This, I know, and I'm not kidding when I tell you to do it. It was within a week or 3 days, one of the two. And all we did was say it and we released it. And we got reached out to by this lady who was opening up her massage parlor. And she wanted, because I did work with her some years prior, she wanted me to come in and offer my makeup and my tarot while at her opening, and in return, she would give me and my husband free couples massages.
Nice.
So again, it's funny that he says that, and that was the same, okay, with Arizona. I had the vision pop in my mind this past, it was like June, I think, or May. And I was like, Dave, we're going to go to Arizona. I can feel it because I could see it. It's like we're already there. And within a week, University of Phoenix said that you got residency you got to come down for. And I ended up having this extra blip of money that came in at the time. And within a month, we went to Arizona. So manifesting is absolutely possible. It's just a matter of trusting.
Yep.
Faith with intention will always create what you want. Even down to like I upped my prices and made some adjustments within my business recently. And instead of me holding on so much to those adjustments, I let it go and know that whoever's meant for me will come to me. And then sure enough, I'm Morel Mushrooming, and I got people booking sessions. So it's having really faith in yourself and the belief in knowing that if you could see it in your mind, it means that it already exists in a current timeline.
Yep.
It's just a matter of aligning yourself and your actions to that frequency, just like with talking with spirit, just like with hearing your intuition and spirituality. You just got to quiet yourself and calm yourself enough so that way you can hear those messages that support and that guidance.
Makes sense.
Because we all got the power to manifest. Think about on a smaller note. You ever manifest a shit day? Because you woke up in the morning and you were like, oh man, I stubbed my toe. So then I stubbed my toe, I just banged my elbow. My weenus. I pinched my weenus. Sorry, I had to. And you just have one thing after the next. Then all of a sudden you might bang your knee in the car door. I've literally done these things back to back, and you're just like, here we go. Here's my day. It's already fucking started. And in that moment, you made a decision that your day was going to be shit, and that's what will follow. I've lived it, I've experienced it, and I'm sure that we can all relate to that. And feel free to comment down below how that has happened and shown up for you. Did you manifest the exact thing that you were bitching about?
I'm sure I have. It's been a while since I woke up in a bad mood. But I think where I'm connecting the dots is if you're truly coming into spirituality through an awakening of some sort, you are becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with a lot of uneasy feelings.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the uneasy feelings is what has been ingrained in us to not trust ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it all goes back to, again, trusting yourself. It's not about wanting something. The manifestation is not what it's about. It's about becoming aware of the energies, the beliefs, and the actions that align you with what you desire. So, like manifesting includes pausing. Pause is a huge one, especially if you're feeling very anxious about something or you really want something to work out. When your body is working in that fight or flight, that anxious, I'm sure Stephanie, she's still on, she can relate to this. You get very frazzled inside, you start debating inside, you start not trusting yourself, and you start acting out of fear. Manifestation happens in the pause. And if you think about that with gardening, planting a seed, it sprouts through the pause. Not by us tilling the shit out of it and picking at it and flooding it with water. It's allowing nature to take its pace, you know, its course, make it take its course. Grounding helps do that as well, because the pause creates space to hear your intuition. Grounding brings your nervous system into safety and presence. So when we're grounding, we're saying we're safe. We don't have to be on guard. We're allowing our environment to hold us in the meantime, if you want to look at that way.
So you will get stuck in the manifestation state if you continue to allow your limiting beliefs to block you. So you've got to kind of rewire your brain and get rid of those limiting beliefs that may even be causing pause, to be honest with you, right? Sometimes it's just taking a moment to, like, what did I just say to myself and how do I take it back? But it's really interesting how I'm glad we decided to talk about manifestation tonight, because I think what's helping me through this process is connecting the dots.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear people say vision boards, I'm like, vision boards, those still exist?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now more now with the energy, now more than ever, vision boards are even better because of the fact that we're working off of our intuition. Look at the full card. And we're coming into a new of that inner trusting, right? And that inner knowing. So we're going to be able to create that in our vision boards because we're waking up, we're remembering. Everybody is remembering. And you do that even through creating, right? We are co-creators. I believe, and in my knowing and in my experience, that God is within you. It's a consciousness. And when we're creating and not just consuming, but we're co-creating with the universe, then we are going to always be guided and have a knowing and take aligned action.
Okay. So let's take an example. I don't care what example we use it. But where do I where am I most likely to get stuck? I think you wanted to go this direction, Nicole, but I'll use my example with my new LLC. It's still very early beginnings and being built. So where can I potentially get stuck in that manifestation stage as somebody who's just newly starting something on their own?
What is the identity, what did they call it, the word they call it, when you feel like a fraud, what is it called? Come on,
Yeah,
because I
I got it on the
definitely
tip of my
struggle with it.
tongue too.
Because when I first started my business, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Imposter syndrome is a very real thing, especially because when we're shifting out of a way of being told how to live and how to feed our families or feed our lives or to be successful, when we completely decide to shift from that and now put it all within ourselves to be like, I'm going to be successful, I completely believe in myself, you're going to have those fractures from the limited belief systems
Yep.
that are going to try to come up. And the best thing to do is just challenge them.
So it's
When they come up, yeah, when they
it's
come up,
saying
let yourself,
yes. It's saying yes to where you used to kind of shrink and try to not be seen.
yeah, because the confidence comes after the scary thing that you do. And as everybody is really starting to see, everybody's wanting to become more of an entrepreneur because there is something within all of us that we each have that brings something that is going to uplift the collective. And we can't do that if we're manifesting for other people. And what I mean by manifesting for other people, because if we have blocks in our own manifestation, then one of the possibilities is that our manifesting juice is being used for somebody else. And one way that it is able to do that is when we are having anger towards other people or situations that have happened and occurred that we're feeding our energy to, that we could be using that positive energy to manifest what we want. So how it can show up is blocks in finances, in clientele, um, more anxiety, more tense in relationships around you. Those are kind of telltale signs and ways to know that your manifesting juice is pretty much shifting and you want to call that energy back. And also showing gratitude, reinforcing trust and receptivity that this is, thank you so much, universe, for already giving me this land or this beautiful body. And in your home, visualizing it looking like the cabin my vision, the cabin and the details of it and a core memory that you have in that experience. So if you want a Bugatti, then visualize you driving down the strip in that Bugatti. What color is it? How fast are you going? You got somebody sitting with you. What does the interior look like? All those details will give you more of an idea because if, for instance, if you say you just want a forest and you don't say I want one that's not underwater, good chances you're going to get that forest, you're going to manifest that forest, but it's going to be underwater because you weren't specific. You said you wanted a river, you said you wanted to build on it, but do you see what I'm saying? So the more
Yeah.
detailed you could get, the stronger it becomes and the more real it becomes.
Okay. All right. So, Stephanie, you wrote, "I feel that." What were you feeling at the moment you typed that? What were we talking about?
Because I wonder if it was about the aligning your thoughts.
It could be.
Because a lot of the times we go on what's called autopilot, and that's why it's so important to daily check your thoughts. What are these thoughts producing for me? Are they producing the same outcomes that I'm trying to change? Because if so, then I need to start replacing that thought. Like for me, if my thought every day was that my business isn't going to make it, well, then every day I'm going to wake up and one new thing is going to come up that's going to reinforce that limiting belief.
Yeah, I think limited beliefs are more of our own worst enemy than anything else I've experienced. I don't know if others feel that way, but I can get in my own head. I can convince myself something that I can convince myself that the house next door to me that's white is actually black just by playing the head games. And releasing that and removing those are really hard but really important to your spiritual journey.
Yeah, because whatever you focus on intensifies. So if you're constantly in a state of anxiety and fear, then how are you going to relax? You might have a few minutes of peace for a second, and then you get right back in. So the pause helps interrupt that autopilot, those limiting beliefs. Because if you're just allowing the limited beliefs to come through, like no, no, or ignore it, especially if you ignore it. Think about a kid that you ignore when they want something from you. Do they just go away? The front door, they do not go away. They intensify and it gets worse and worse. So when it comes to those limiting beliefs, we want to acknowledge them. When it
That's a
comes to,
great answer, Stephanie.
um, oh, because of her current situation that she was experiencing. I just didn't want to talk about her personal
Yeah.
stuff, but I figured that she could relate because there was limiting beliefs that had her in a state of feeling
Yep.
like she couldn't handle a certain situation that she
Sure.
was dealing with.
Makes sense. I think it was the anxiety and needing, yeah. Stephanie, I used to be riddled with anxiety. I've learned how to navigate through it, but it's not easy.
Because the anxiety is created from a state of go, 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 do, and not in a state of rest, of love, of calm, of peace. It only comes in a place of frantic, of fear, fear of what will happen if I step back. Well, I can assure you that what will happen is you'll step into observation mode and you'll start seeing things that when you were deep in it, you were unable to see. We're trying to rebuild our lives, especially if you're trying to build our own business or take a new way. It is very easy. I've been there myself to consume yourself 24/7, thinking that I've got to do all of these things nonstop in order to make it happen. And the reality of it is you don't. It'll naturally flow and go because otherwise you'll take on clients that don't resonate with you. You know what I mean? You'll have more issues. You'll have more of a headache than joy. Yes, fight mode is very, very easy to be in, especially if we're in a place within ourselves that we're fighting something within ourselves. Because remember, our internal world and external world, they're reflections. So you
Yeah.
always want to return to your body when that happens.
So I went on mute while my psycho dog had a fit for the Amazon guy. But I think where a lot of people get stuck too with anxiety is it's not just the fear of I can't, it's anticipating something, the next bad thing to happen. So in my space, Stephanie, I was constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop. And because I put that thought in my head, it stayed with me 24/7. And
She was always dropping.
it just kept creating, I was manifesting my own anxiety probably now that I think about it. So having more control over that state of mind has been key to being able to find light at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm. And when we're so busy and have so much being put in front of us in our lives, it makes it next to impossible. That's why when we were sharing even the other day, that start out with 5 minutes in your day for yourself. Because if I was to tell you right now to take 30, you'd say, no way. You'd have a billion reasons why, especially if it's not something that you do. But you got to allow yourself to start somewhere because if you think about it, if you're doing all these things all day long, who are you really doing it for if you're not also going to do for yourself the pause? Because a lot of the times we don't realize that. It's like, well, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. Well, why are you making yourself so busy? And it's a matter of prioritizing because that same kind of busy can also be taking that time out to recalibrate, to meditate, to journal, to sit, because that pause is where everything happens. All the answers that you're fighting for, all the things that you're trying to force to happen, happens when you pause and you step back.
That makes sense.
Because your intuition can't surface if we're living in fear and chaos, right? It's like living in the city and wanting the country life. Yes, I was anxious about the response I would get if I took action. And that's usually because our patterning will automatically try to think of what it's used to or what it's known in the past. And but at the end of the day, no matter what the response is, we have no control over. All we have control over is how we show up and how we respond to what's put in front of us. And know that if we, as long as we're doing it from an authentic lens, then the universe will support it, because even if it ends abruptly or anything like that, it still was just for your highest good. But if we do it out of the sake of anger, control, or fear, then we're more than likely, not more than likely, we're going to get that in response. We're going
Yeah.
to get tension and fear and aggression back, because that's how we responded.
So, who on here has something they'd like to manifest?
Yes,
Anybody?
put your manifestations down. Yeah, I like that too. Nice.
Every now and then something comes to my mind.
Good. It's good to put down too, because you're also in an environment that is wanting to see you manifest your best life. And what does that look like for you? And that can look different for everybody from moment to moment. It could be as simple as I'd like to be able to take a bath to having the Bugatti. But if you can visualize it, then that means that it already exists in your timeline. You've just got to give yourself the power to receive it. And you do that by entrusting that what is meant for you cannot miss you.
Right. Right. It's all, you have to trust the process. It's
Yeah.
and it's not going to happen overnight, and you have to have patience, but as long as you can hold on to the trusting the process, the universe will always put you where you belong.
The universe responds in three ways. It responds with a yes, a not now, or a not for you. So if you want to know another key for manifesting, and that's from Gabby Bernstein, I hope I say her name right. She's phenomenal. She was definitely one of my mentors throughout time that I really, really loved. But really, the universe will only respond in three ways again, and that is yes, not now, or not for you. Well, there's a few things you want to manifest, but okay, so think about for your manifestation to happen, that means taking the making the scary steps first, or that can feel a little bit scary. And that's asserting, being assertive in your knowing that where you're coming from with what you're trying to create cannot miss you. And pay attention to your guys' dream states right now too. Because 8 planets in, I mean, eight, with all the alignments that are going in, and we got the new moon, guys. You want to manifest, make sure you get moon water, put water out on Friday. But you're gonna want
Do
to
what?
really put water out on Friday. Put your crystals out. Put anything that you want to charge under that beautiful new moon that's coming in. Because it is bringing in newness, but it's also asking you to face what no longer is for you. It's
So
like
I'm
a
just gonna sleep in
realization
the front
moment.
yard. I'm just gonna sleep in the front yard Friday.
And charge yourself.
Yeah,
Absolutely, you should.
I think that's a great idea.
This new moon is asking you what's worth your fight and what's not.
All of me.
Well, like what is worth you know what I mean, putting your energy into, and what's now's the time to walk away, because this is a seeding moment. It's a stronger sense of self is what this energy is really bringing in.
So
So
we're
a
still
lot of
shedding. We're still shedding.
well, I
In
mean,
a
if you
way.
think
In a
about it with
way.
new moons,
Yeah.
and we have a new moon every month. We
Right.
have a new moon that happens every month. So we're always, if you think about it as divine feminines and having our menstrual cycles and everything else, yes, we're always shedding. That's why we go by the moon. Um, huh?
I think
No,
Stephanie's still stuck in her Sophia state.
Hey, if you're open, this is for whoever. It can be one person, it could be millions of people. Whoever is needing this support right now, I've always believed I never have to chase clientele. Whoever is meant for me has always just found me. And I found that once I went into business myself. There's never been more freedom, and I've never had to work less hours, or with the hours that I am working, I'm working with intention so they don't feel like draining or exhausting. I realized working for other people, I couldn't do it without addictions for me personally because I realized the energy I was exuding out for other people was leaving me so drained that I had to almost numb myself to show up like the robot that these places needed me to be. So if you feel inspired to start going off on your own or feel guided that there's something you really want to be passionate about, don't be afraid to do it because you will be supported. I started my business when COVID happened, literally. And we're what, over 7 years, 7 years now. And I've been able to we've been able to have all of our needs taken care of. It's just a matter of what is important to you and what isn't, what matters to you and what doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. Would you stop barking at everything that goes by? Please?
Let's see. What do I talk about?
Grounding helps regulate the nervous system. Grounding moves you out of anxiety and into presence. Shut up. Brian said, how come I can only see the top of T's head? I don't know. I see her face.
Listen, I got a phone leaning against a Bailey's bottle being held up by an iPad thing.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying my best here.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Welcome in, beautiful souls. Comment down below.
How come I can't see your face at all?
Oh, okay. Well, I can see her though. That's so weird. It is hot in here. I'm like sweating my ass off. Anybody else have crazy weather? Anybody like a card pull? Feel free to comment down below. I haven't been too active in TikTok, so there's like nobody in the chat right there.
No, there's just no. Nobody's over there.
But feel free to share, guys. Share our live so other people can see it as well. Comment down below, hearts. That also brings us back up to the top. Since I'm live, I technically can't share. I don't have that opportunity. It doesn't look like to me.
I think I just read something that really just resonated with me. I'm not sure it's the first time I've read it, but maybe it's because we're really talking about it tonight. Honoring your authentic self requires you to disappoint the versions of you that were built for approval.
Abso-fucking-lutely, bro.
I've had that up on my computer screen as a sticky note, and I read it all the time. But it just clicked it just clicked. Stephanie was having this conversation with somebody today. Was it you, Nicole, or someone else?
Yeah, it was with me.
Okay.
I was empowering her because I was trying to remind her what a badass she is.
Okay.
Because she was getting worried about asserting herself in something, and I was like, we just talked about, because yesterday we talked about Chiron, okay, guys? Know where Chiron shows up in your chart, what house it's in, what sign it's in, because especially with the energies going on right now, the wounded healer, if you're in the wound, it could really be showing itself in a fiery way. But if you can kind of understand what's going on there, like for Stephanie, hers is on asserting herself and trusting herself. And she'll swallow back a lot of the times, but right now she's being put into a place where the divine's supporting her, letting her know. And she had dreams about some people last night that kind of got her in a whirl, but then she had something come up today, so it was like back to back, like of these, what we're talking about, these little sprinkles of things that are leading up into this moment. And with the new moon on Friday, it makes sense because, you know, what's worth fighting for and what's not.
So she just resonated with that phrase that I said. Yes, Stephanie, I agree. I think as human beings, once we get the approval of who we are, we fight the reason or the need to change to where we're headed. It's just it feels like we're letting ourselves down. I can understand that.
Old parts of us continuously need to die in order for us to continue to thrive.
Yep.
And as Scorpios, we're very comfortable there. And realizing that the shedding is so that newness can come. And so think about it. If you got a full closet of clothes, I mean, more than likely,
Auntie Marie.
you got to get rid of the shit to make space for more clothes to come in. Out with the old, in with the new. When you go through spring cleaning, and you
No,
start
no,
emptying
no. Auntie Marie can't go out with the old and with the new.
in order for the new to come in, it would help. And
She's got all new. She has all new.
Oh, okay. Okay, but that means that she goes out with, and if you have anything that's like broken and that's not going to get fixed, like
Yeah.
stuff like that can create energy blocks. So what you're
Yeah.
trying to manifest. Tom, stop.
Yep, I'm not telling you, Uncle Fred. I'm not telling her to go to White House Black Market or Chico's. Although tomorrow is Thursday, right? Did you know that we have a model in our family?
Did you know that I did the runway once when I was a kid?
Listen, your aunt participates every Thursday as a model at a store.
So she can get free clothes?
No, so she can. People buy what she's wearing.
Hell yeah, run that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, record it, put it online, make money.
I think this. I don't.
No shows are lame. Well, maybe you'll go online. So run your own runway, Auntie Marie. The world's your runway.
Did you mean shows or shoes? Why do I feel like it should be the word shoes? I'll tell you, that lady is the light in my life. Yeah, but I get great discounts.
I told you, I thought it was free, so I was close. As you should, as you should. So that's how, okay, so here's an example on Auntie Marie. That's how she knows how to manifest, through movement, intentional movement. By her doing these shows, she is helping the business, and in turn, she's getting discounts for what she enjoys with her clothes. That's another thing with manifestation. You need to create, right? And in order to create, you want to do it with a plan, a boundary, a conversation, a ritual, a small step. Because action becomes powerful when it is guided by clarity. I know that sounds silly because she's on a runway, but it doesn't matter how small or large the manifestation is. Intuitive creation feels aligned, not forced. And the only way for that to really come through is by not constantly like do. So if someone wants to grow a business, for instance, like Tina, right? Creating might mean setting up the website, posting consistently, or making a new offer. The action is the bridge between the vision and reality. So remember that again. The inspired action is the bridge between the vision and the reality that you're trying to create. It becomes real through embodied action, not force action. So embodied action will feel more guided, supported, soft, inspirational, not debatable, angry, resentful, rude.
I'm just reflecting on what Stephanie, I think you shared a little bit of the conversation that you had with her this morning, but I'm reflecting on the fact that we all get stuck in that self-confidence space, especially when dabbling in something new. So it's really important that you choose your true self over an image or a brand or a way somebody expects you to show up. Because that's kind of where I think a lot of us, I guess it's fear driven too, but I think if our confidence isn't at its peak and we go in thinking we're going to be judged, we're going to be judged. if we go in thinking we're going to command the room and own it and really be able to like embrace whether it's a conversation or it's an action, you could be very successful at it.
Absolutely. And giving yourself grace, just knowing that if you can get yourself through the door, everything will work out. Because again, like, confidence comes after doing the scary thing. So if you just tell yourself, like, what is the biggest thing that's going to happen by me taking this step? I know that people regret more of what they wish they would have done, you know what I mean, than actually just doing it. Because once it's done, no matter what, that action step will create movement somewhere in your life.
Yeah, it's you have to be willing to make that move. It's not a lot of pressure. It's just that eagerness, that excitement, that something that lights that internal fire inside of you that wants to try something new. That's all it takes. Like, it's just that will.
Everything starts with a spark.
Yep.
Once you get that spark, drive that spark for as far as your passion will let it. And then once that spark goes out, find another one. And just go all the way with it until there's another one. Like, just enjoy going after the spark. Don't worry about how everybody else is doing it, or if they're doing it, or if it exists. I always say, like, if there's other people around that are doing similar to what you want to get yourself into, learn everything that you can from them. The bad, the good, the ugly, the necessary. So then that way you can then take from there and put it into your own blueprint. Because that is the best way. Don't be afraid. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been invented.
Yep. And lean into it. I mean, find you don't always have to be in something alone. When you lean into it and you find somebody that truly brings the right energy your way and is supportive, that energy that feeds from those folks will also feed into that manifestation that you're trying to create.
Blooms like a flower. You need community. Because when going into anything, when we thought that we had to live in the world that we have to do it all of ourselves, that created the burnout.
Yep.
And now as a collective, guys, more people than not are jumping ship. So this conversation is important to have, to embody the fact of trusting yourself, of taking that inspired action, because otherwise you will end up back on the same hamster wheel you were in. And in all honesty, with the energies that we're in, we got free will, but energetically, they ain't fucking around, man. They ain't playing around, because you are not meant to be a robot for somebody else's financial gain.
Well, and it's also what I'm seeing in my coaching is people, not only are they burnt out, but they're burnt out in so many ways. Like, it isn't just one specific thing that I relate to healthcare workers because that's where I've spent most of my career. I have always said to the leaders that I've worked with in the executive space that we have not done enough to help support our colleagues recover from the pandemic. Because what we did was we offered them things, but it was up to them to go. We never created a space where it was, you need to come. We're going to do something different. We're going to walk through something that's just relaxing, a massage or Reiki, or just something to help them remove that. Yes, because they're still living in a state of WTF. And it's
right, but if they ground them, then they'll be more likely to be like, this is not conducive for being
a pizza party's not going to help.
Right, they'd rather keep them soldiers moving along.
Right.
And if they process it, then they'll be more apt to be like, no, this doesn't work, and then start questioning the systems that are working for the some. Stephanie, something that my therapist had told me a while ago, and when I was in the beginning of everything with anxiety and whatnot, she said, think about yourself being in a jet. And then think about all the turbulence that happens when you're in that jet. A lot of people want to pull back in that moment because they're scared as shit and they just want to stop. But if you just push it forward a little bit longer, then you'll break through that turbulence to the other side where everything's joy, peaceful, calm. That's the place that I officially live in, even if I'm shaking. Like you guys saw, my father died. Shake and do it anyway, because there's a beautiful sense in knowing that when we push ourselves past that limit is where we find our power. And we cannot find our power if we're stopping ourselves and preventing. So like you were shaking uncontrollably and then you did it, how did it feel afterwards? I bet it felt exhilarating. I bet you felt like a badass, like you probably could have jumped out of a plane.
Yeah. It's funny what our minds are capable of doing, or that we're capable of allowing let in. Stephanie, the reason why I started leaning more into the spirituality side of things was really to get over my anxiety, to really stop looking for somebody to blame, somebody to kind of not carry the weight, but kind of just to get mad at. Like, why does this keep happening to me? I just need a break. Like, and I've said this before on live. I lie outside looking at the sky like I'm talking to somebody who's like looking down at me like, what the hell? How much more can I take? I'm like literally broken and into pieces. It wasn't until I met Dr. Aaron, who is a spiritual psychologist, who said to me, "Do you believe in spirituality?" I said, "I'm getting there." She said, "Do you believe your soul has a purpose?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Do you believe you chose this life?" I said, I don't know. She goes, "You chose this life because you were built to live it." Those life lessons that seem really hard right now, those are going to be lessons that just make you a stronger individual. So stop being your own worst enemy, stop fueling your mind with anxiety, and just move forward. And well, she was pretty harsh. And then I caught on, right? She used this analogy of a kitchen faucet. Water's running fluid. It's just running. And then you got another one that's trickling. Why is it trickling? Because the filter hasn't been changed. Change that filter so you can continue to keep that flow in a consistent space. But I had to hear those things over and over again before I could actually say, holy shit, I am my own worst enemy.
Well, they take on different layers, right? Because after that gets put into your awareness, then your life starts showing up differently.
Right.
Because then you start kind of like challenging those things. And when we're having blocks, very much like what you were saying with the trickling of water, it's kind of the same thing. But when we can have the pause, when we can challenge those thoughts, then we can kind of have the flow of the water moving again. Because emotion is energy in motion, right? So we have to keep that going, however that looks, and that doesn't mean producing. Producing isn't what brings you value. And that was a big one for me, is that I thought that I had to prove to be loved, because that was very much my life cycled
Yep.
for me because of the part that I was playing. Like Bashar has said, quite a few people that have really been fond of over the years, a lot of it is like, well, why are you holding on to that belief system? If you are still holding on to that addiction, that thought, that belief, somewhere along the way, you think it's benefiting you. Otherwise, you would no longer hold on to it. So figure out the why there. So then that way you can then release it or move on. But our experiences are because, like, I truly feel that I experienced the amount of things that I did because in the collective, it was not being able to, or to be healed, right?
Yep.
So by me going through those experiences and healing them, I now become kind of like a lighthouse. Tina, you became like a lighthouse with losing your parents and working in HR and in the hospitals, and like you did, right? You became now a lighthouse for people who will go through those experiences. However, some can go through those experiences and stay trapped in what Tina was talking about, the victimhood, the why isn't this happening to me kind of, and then narcissism can end up happening. blaming everybody else instead of ownership. But at the end of the day, we always have to look back to however we're showing up in the world is a reflection of how we're showing up to ourselves inside. So
Very
if you're
true.
showing up like a dickhead, then look inside to where you're being a dickhead.
Well, let's not get kicked off again.
All right, that's a good point. A prickhead. Is that better?
I think I think it's really interesting, and I think the biggest challenge is really allowing yourself to know that you did nothing wrong. That whatever's happening to you that's hurting you is not a form of punishment. It's a form of growth.
Right. There's nothing
And
that you could have done differently.
you couldn't have done differently. And if you even if you tried to do it differently, you you still would have done it the same way because that's the way it had to be done for you to learn the lesson. And I think a lot of people just have a really hard time getting there. I had a coaching session today with somebody near and dear to my heart. We started taking things, emotions, and putting them, labeling them on rocks, not actual rocks, but like visually. Take a boulder. That boulder is heavy. You can't move it. What is that emotion that's tied to that boulder? Let's put that in one area. Then let's take like a stepping stone. What's another emotion that you tie to that stepping stone? And then I don't know, let's take little pebbles that you like find in a rock garden. What are the emotions there? Because you're more likely to take the emotions that you can carry with you first before you try to acknowledge that boulder that's staring you in the face. And
Well,
if you
yeah.
chip away at the boulder, one day you will put that in a backpack and be able to walk with it.
Yeah, no, because similarly, I would totally look at that of the pebbles all start to add up
Yep.
over time and become that big boulder. So
Yep.
if you can start small, then you'll end up getting the answer to the something big. But a lot of times people don't notice until that something big comes up, and then they're trying like hell to focus on this big part, and it's like you said, start with the small stuff first that's more manageable before hitting the boulder up next.
Yeah. And it's interesting if you spend enough time with somebody coaching them through a process. Coaching is very hard to do in my opinion because you have to stay very neutral in between the lines. You're not giving out answers. You're really just probing questions to make your client come to their own conclusions. And today was one of those sessions where I triggered an emotion from a childhood experience that person kept under lock and key. And I asked, do you think that has any impact on who you are today? And because you haven't dealt with it or thought about it, how is it impacting you today? Because it may have just been the first time you just thought of it. Like it just came to mind because we were in just such an open flow conversation that she started spewing this out, and I was like, wait, I never heard this before. What?
Space, yeah.
What is this? And then I was like, wait a minute, let's go back to that. Like, where does that sit inside you right now? Because I can see it linking to all the different things we just talked about with that you need to create boundaries around.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a very good conversation. I hope it was hopeful for her, helpful for her. But it's this life is not easy.
No, but it can be very much, it can be easier based on the perception of what you're allowing yourself to put down, what you're allowing yourself to consume,
Small goals.
how
Start
you want to
small.
show up. Yeah,
You just
because
start small.
Stephanie mentions, I get in my head all the time. Well, here's another kind of way of reflecting or sitting with the energy too is that we control our mind. I tell my kids is control your mind, control your life, right? So you want to get answering what's going on in your head. So when you're saying you're getting in your head, then that means you got to get something out. So next time what you can do is challenge that thought, right? Like if I'm getting in my head right now, that means that this is a moment, an opportunity for me to get something out of my head. Because once you do that, you will then be able to ground it and gain clarity. So
Yeah.
just use that as an exercise moving forward. Whenever you have a moment of I'm getting in my head, you can immediately challenge that thought. Means I got to get it out of my head so that I can gain clarity. Just something to try.
I just want you all to know that just especially specifically for tonight. Can you see it?
Yes.
I don't
Make
wear
it
it.
happen.
I don't wear it a lot because I don't know why it's like 5 times too big, but I've got the air on, so I was a little chilly. But I was like, that's a perfect sweatshirt for tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We have more control. Think about everybody who's gotten to where that they want to get to is no different than you getting to where you're going. Just focus on you.
And bring people along with you. There is no harm in asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Bring people along for you. Tap into the people that you know may have that background or that experience. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Always be the student and teacher. I do it all the time. Always ask questions if you want to know. Like don't be afraid because usually the people who have been in those experiences, they're wanting to tell you.
Yeah.
They're wanting to be able to be a support, a grounding. And the people who don't, fuck them. That means they don't know anything anyways. Um,
Another one. Are we still on?
yeah, I see you. So I don't know.
It's the way the phone is propped up because and the way it's the angle of everything.
Yeah, but I see her full face. That's why I'm confused that nobody else can. Because it's like, why am I seeing her full
I
face?
think it's the way Facebook is. I don't know. But thank you for having my back, Nicole.
Yeah, I got you, girl. I got you.
Oh, Stephanie, you saying you missed this?
Her shirt says "Make it happen."
She's probably like, I only see her head. What the hell is she talking about?
Right? Maybe. We already got down, guys. We already finished day 15 of 30, and that was fast. That happened quick. We thanked everybody again for who joined us tonight.
I have a reflection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's the way the screen is split. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. We're gonna have to turn the camera down some. So Tina's gonna do her reflection before we close for this evening.
Sorry, guys, but I do find reflections helpful.
Oh, we should always end with our grounding reflection. Absolutely.
Now I see it. Okay, we're good. All right, so manifestation isn't about forcing outcomes. It's about becoming the version of you who can receive them. Every desire you feel is a signal of who you're growing into. Every small act of self trust moves you closer, and every belief you release creates space for what's next. So ask yourself, what identity am I choosing now? What one aligned step can I take today? You don't manifest through pressure, you manifest through alignment, through honesty, clarity, and the quiet decision to honor who you're becoming. Until next time, trust the process, trust your pace, and trust yourself. And it looks like we've got a request for you to pull a card.
Yep, I'm on it. And as I'm pulling one, manifestation is not always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet shift in how you breathe, how you wait, how you trust, and how you show up.
That's great.
The pause is not delay, it is preparation. Grounding is not stillness without purpose. It is the root of creation. Gratitude is not the end of the journey, it is the energy that keeps the door open. So, Eight of Coins. Does that not look familiar from your deck earlier that you pulled there, Stephanie? So Eight of Coins, you're steadily building at something, and as you keep building at it, it is growing stronger and tangible in the physical. So keep, and the eight is abundance in the physical form, so you are on top of it. That is so hilarious. She pulled this as one of her cards earlier.
Nice.
So there's again confirmation.
Go ahead and pull my card for tonight. Let's see.
Okay.
Am I going to be faced with a fox again tonight?
Oh, hold on. I just got to do past life for you, so hold on.
Oh.
I know. I was
I
like,
went to go. I went to go pick up my Amazon box that flew into my neighbor's yard last night. After the show, it was pitch black. Had my phone with the little flashlight that does nothing. As I'm walking towards the box, I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's moving. It's not the box. That's a fox." And they got their. They're more afraid of us.
I knew I was gonna pull this. This is happening so hardcore right now. The High Priestess. That is hilarious. See, so you were tapping in. You were tapping into your High Priestess, girl.
I'm trying.
You got some past life energy with it, and the communal living. So it's like through community that it's enhancing more in this way.
Okay, communal living. Now all I have is Handmaid's.
Handmaid's Tale. Well, we're not going to do that kind of communal living. All right, everybody, we are at a close for this evening. Stephanie, was that not on point, dude? I was hoping she would have commented that down below because that was funny. So as I say every evening when I close, y'all woke up today, so your soul still has it still has purpose on this planet. So you might as well live it authentically true to you and not to anybody else's standards, guys. Love and light, beautiful souls. We will be back tomorrow night. Well, I might be back here with somebody else, but we will be back here tomorrow night from 7 to 8 p.m. for day 16 of 30. I will be pulling cards, especially if I do it myself. So feel free to invite everybody in because I want to show you kind of my little world of the internet, and I will be pulling cards and having messages. So feel free to follow, like, and share. Love and light, beautiful souls. You're welcome, Steph. Good, Steph. I knew it would be.
Thanks, everybody. It was a great night. Thanks for participating.
Yes, it was fun. I love it when everybody participates. Bye.
Bye.